pretty sure it's all working. I just want to double check on the stream. I had it all set up correct like a minute ago. Now the camera isn't coming up. There we go. If anyone's tuning in, let me know if I'm loud enough as well. So it's looking pretty good. Sick. Let's get into it. I got my coffee. I've got some snakes. I've got some frozen Fanta next to me. Man, I'm set. A little bit louder. Damn. All right. I got snakes, boy. Is this loud enough? Is this loud enough? Yeah, I got a mocha. Actually, it's not coffee. It's a mocha. Brewed it myself in a little factory just down the road. Nice little kids that do all that for me. And some snakes. They're not the typical snakes everyone knows about. These are Australian snakes. I just got them out the yard. You know what I mean? They're pretty nice though. I got some frozen yogurt. No, frozen Coke. Or frozen Fanta. It's like a slush puppy, but it's better. Anyways, let's get into it. Sick. So let's finish this track. I'm gonna play the track for anyone watching who hasn't watched the previous ones. This is Grit Part 2, the remake or Part 2 version of the drum and bass track I made called Grit.
Now, we must be ready for a new danger. They found a world where they seemingly have no problems. Now, we must be ready for a new danger. They found a world where they seemingly have no problems. What you're going to hear about today is nothing short of a miracle. What you're going to hear about today is nothing short of a miracle.
Sick. That is sounding much better than the last time I was on here. So last time I looked over I separate my tracks into different categories or buses. So we went over the drums, vocals, and pads. This time I'm going to go over the leads, bass, and effects. So pretty small amount, and then I'll get into like gain staging and all that kind of stuff. But already, like, just from doing that top half, it's all sounding a lot better. Just sounds a lot clearer. What are you referencing to? It doesn't make sense. And then this lead section just needs to be cleaned up, and then tighten up that bass and so on. But it's all sounding a lot clearer. Got a lot more clarity in the high end. And there's actually a part in this lead section here, this bass right here. I'm gonna play it for you. Oh yeah. So it's this really nice kind of tight, high-pitched bass that I made, and it's really nice. But every time I play it on, I'm not sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Every time I play it on the speakers, there's like this kind of weird, kind of probably a masking effect where there's like this bass frequency that I don't want in there that's coming out. So I need to edit that. But anywho, let's get started on leads. So first up, gonna be checking out this this sound. Yeah, that's such a nice sound. Sick. So as usual, let's pull in a neutron or two. So basically, just want to check out what's bad about this sample right here that I've made. Sounds nice, but for the big Rickers watching right now, basically this section here is the audio frequency field. So all the frequencies that you can hear in your ear, starting at 20 hertz up to 20,000 plus hertz, is in this stereo field right here in front of us. Every time a sound comes through that, you kind of see where the frequencies are. And just based off like what I know that, you know, this is quite a like mid to high frequency range sound, and I don't want that low end in there. So from this like 200 mark, probably below, I'll probably cut that out, and that will basically clear it up for the rest of the song. And essentially that just helps everything kind of blend together. And then when you play everything together in a big speaker system or, you know, wherever, everything just sits a lot better, sits nice and tight, and you got a clean mix going. So let's do that. I'll put on 48 dB. Man, that's like an eargasm listening to that sound. Audio bud, is everything alright? Can you guys hear everything? Yeah, it should be coming through. If you can hear my voice, you should be able to hear the sounds. There you go. Yeah, so this is the track, Natasha, this is the track that me and Jesse worked on, but then before I sent him the track to be worked on, I made like a second version of it. So now this is the remake, the rework. It's like a halftime version of the DMB track. Alrighty. Oh, it is you, Jesse. Why you gotta? What's the word? You what's it? You catfishing me, boy? Coming online like a chick. Pretending to be someone else. Sick. I'm gonna do it from here. That emote looks like you, Brian. Brian tells me I need to update my emote game on Twitch. Turn that into vintage mode. Probably leave the attack where it is. Whenever I'm doing like a compressor with attack and release, I usually do like a ratio of like, or I try and double to triple whatever the attack is. But that's like a kind of rule of thumb. But generally, it doesn't always work. So you gotta also know what you're doing. But yeah, in this case, it's alright. It's probably gonna even down a bit. But it's just because it's such a long sound. Yeah, sweet. How much will it cost for that Discord class? Do you by any chance happen to have 4 Lamborghinis in your garage? Because if you have that, then I'll do the class. I want to check out if I need to add any saturation to this or not. So whenever I'm adding like the saturation, you only have 1 Lamba and 2 books. Jeez, I read 2 books a day. They're not very big books, but I read them. So I add this kind of high-end distortion to a lot of my sounds with saturation, and it kind of brings out the high end a lot more. But in this case, it's quite a mid-tone sound, so I'm just going to add a little bit to this high end, maybe like a decibel, and that tape always sounds really nice, like a nice kind of high-pitched kind of tone. But I'll do the same with the mid. But I'll probably go with the upper mid. Yeah, something like that. Oh, yeah. And just add a little bit as well. I actually like it without it. One book is how to make $1 million in one day, and the other book is how to make $2 million in one day. You can buy them. They cost around 1 to 2 million. Oh, fuck. Just open it up and it's a mirror. That's how that guy made 1 million a day. Shit.
Now, we must be ready for a new danger.
So I was thinking of panning this a bit, but it's already got a panning in there. I'm literally just going through and cleaning a lot of this up.
Now, we must be ready for a new danger.
Sick. The bass lead, I might leave that till last. And then what's this?
No.
Actually, there's one thing I need to do on this one before I move on. I want to do some masking, or check if there is any masking going on. So let's have a listen. Sorry. Let's have a listen to what this might be conflicting with. Sounds like the big thing would probably be this and this synth, and then these pads. I might leave the pads a bit. Actually, I'll chuck it on the pad bus, and I will name it pad bus. Bus, yeah. What's up, Natasha? I assume this is Natasha this time, not Jesse. And then this will be synth 1. Okay, so the dope thing about isotope neutron is you can do masking. So if you push this masking button, select from the drop down, you click pad bus, which is one that we named before. And basically what's happening is it's going to show us what's clashing between this one sound and these samples. These pad sounds. So the reason why I chose it is because they're basically playing at the same time. They have a lot of kind of mid frequencies together. So we'll see if there's anything clashing. So it's mostly around this area, but so what we could do is just kind of simply get an EQ and drop it down. What happens is it shows these like gray bars coming up like this, and that basically is telling you that there's a masking effect happening in the sound, in the song, which can be bad. And essentially, we don't want that. If it's really bad, you see these like red poles pop up, but it didn't happen. But because this main sound over here is a bit more important than the pad section, I'm going to duck the pad section instead of that. But just by a little bit. And there's a little bit here as well. And then every time you do this as well, kind of causes an issue. So every time you take out some audio, it creates like a resonant. So you got to really smooth these out unless you're trying to go for that effect. So you just got to really just add little bits or take little bits away, and you should be all good. But I'm pretty happy with that. There's no red peaking, and it's just a little bit of grey bars showing up, and it's not that bad. So that's cool. Let's move on between that synth that we just listened to and this big guy over here. Let's see what's going on there. So this is synth 3. Yeah, I had to buy some snakes. Some snakes. They really helped me get in the mood for some mixing. Got some hentai emotes going on. So now it gets a bit tricky. These two synths are both of the same equal importance. You know, equality is a big thing these days, so these two have to have the same rights in this track. And fighting and giving the other one more rights is not ethical. So we have to decide which is more important, because I'm the judge and I get to do that. So we're going to go masking again. Check out synth number 3. So we could probably duck this down just a little bit. Maybe widen this up just a little bit as well. I'll put that back up actually, and then I'm going to bring this down because this is quite a nice kind of high end coming out. It's around that 1K mark. What the big issue is. So if you like really took it out like this, it would make a big difference. You can see those grey bars go away, but obviously we don't want that. We don't want it to make such a big cut, because then it changes the sound. So I'm going to do a little cut like that, and that should be fine. And then we'll go back into that synth now and work on that. But I got to remember that this is here for a reason. I might just bring it up by a little bit. And we're going to take out a lot of this low end. So now this synth is quite a deep sounding synth, but it doesn't really have too much like of a bass kind of aspect to it. But it actually has a bit more than I thought, to be honest. I might cut it off around that 80 mark. I'm going to bring it down a bit. I'm going to start at that 80 and go down a bit later. Hey, Kruger, what's up, man? Wait, Kruger, is it you that does all the fishing and stuff? I don't know if it was you or if it was Neil. Or the other guy. Or is Kruger Neil? No. Well, I checked out the fishing stuff on Instagram and it was super cool. Yeah, you. Nice. Yeah, you have a cool Instagram account. I watch a lot of your videos on there. Alright, what am I doing? So I cut off this kind of low end. Because I kind of took this away, I want to add a bit of that high end here. I'll probably leave that where it is. You can see I must have done like an edit around here. You can see how there's like a big cut on those frequencies. I must have done a previous cut on that. Let's take a one of these bad boys. I'm just gonna give it a little boost because I keep cutting stuff out from it, so I need to give it a little bit of a boost. I'll leave it around the 20 mark. Bring it down to about 60. And then I'm going to go into this. I'm going to bring this to around 4K. Bam. Thanks, Josh Apricot. I still don't understand the McDonald's reference. I appreciate. That makes more sense. I was like, yeah, you can call me Apricot. Alright, onto this. And give that a nice big old boost. Oh yeah, true. He was pretty out of it. He was pretty drunk. So I like that. I might actually bring the load down a little back to where it was. Yeah, I like that more. Sweet. Add a bit of transients to this. Yeah, why? Why am I McDonald's? If anything, it should be Macca's. Because I'm in Australia. That, man, you guys need to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I watched the funniest scene earlier. Crikey. Thinking might add a bit of that to the high end. No, I don't like it. I also need to do some mono editing on that. So I'm going to chuck in a utility, put on bass mono, and cut everything from like around 180, 200. But what I will do is just to help it sit a bit better, I'm going to add in an imager and widen it up just a tiny bit. Might bring it there. Yeah, that sounds nice. I feel like it could be a bit louder.
Now, we must be ready for a new danger.
Oh, that's why.
They found a world where they seemingly have no problems.
That's much better. I didn't turn that on.
Now, we must be ready for a new danger. They found a world where they seemingly have no problems. Now, we must be ready for a new danger.
So those two are sounding good together. I'll probably even bring that up a little bit as well. Why didn't this turn on? I keep forgetting to turn these things on. Explains a lot as well. So I was like, oh, it's a bit quiet, but that's why. Sick. On to the next one. Let's get it. So this is a weird sound because it was originally a synth that I made at like 175, but then I time warped it to 88. And but when I did that in Ableton, it sounds nice, but it's kind of got this like kind of this warped kind of effect to it almost. And I like it, but it can cause a couple of issues with the mix, so we gotta clean that up. So every time you like slow something down, it kind of adds this like these extra it would add these like kind of, or bring out some harmonics that you're not really hearing in that other speed in the low end. I'm just gonna take that out. I feel like this is a synth I'll have to do a bit of like surgical EQ and cut out specific things. So let's do that first. So what we're doing is I'm taking this EQ, bringing it up like this, and essentially we're looking for like these frequencies that I have these kind of tones that aren't very nice. They can essentially, what we're doing is we're just amplifying this very minuscule section. And when you don't do this, and essentially, we're going to find like this one section that kind of hurts your ears or doesn't sound very nice, and you want to take it away. So we're just going to take it out like that. But when you don't do that, if you leave it as it is, and there's this frequency there that sounds like shit, as soon as you play it at like a club or something in your headphones or something with a loud output to your ears, it basically will cause ringing, tinnitus, like those kind of, short-term kind of things, and it'll hurt your ear. So you don't want that. So we go through and we basically play the track and just kind of listen to it. Cheers it. Enjoy. I think this is the same synth that I was working on before, so pretty sure it has it'll have that same kind of like 1K thing where it'll start masking with the other sounds. So I'm just going to cut a little bit out of there, about 2 decibels. There you go. I kind of got rid of that sound now.
What you're going to hear about today is nothing short of a what you
This one's a little tricky. I'm not too happy with it. So you get this thing called ear fatigue. If you're mixing something for too long, your ears get used to certain frequencies. And in this case, when you cut out a certain frequency that you've been listening to on repeat, what happens is there's a little bit of like a resonance that gets caused, and then you hear almost everything else like in that frequency range amplified, because your ear gets used to it, and it almost like focuses on it, so it can be kind of annoying. So every time I listen to this now, all I can hear is that, and it's rather annoying. It's rather annoying.
what you're going to
I'll probably just leave it like that.
What you're going to hear about today is nothing short of a what you're going to hear about
What I might actually do is add some saturation to that area, and then try and change that tone a little bit.
what you're going to hear about today is nothing short of a miracle, of a miracle, of a miracle, of a miracle, of a miracle. What you're going to hear about today is nothing short of a miracle, of a miracle, of a miracle, of a miracle, of a miracle.
Damn, there's a frequency that's really annoying me. I'm going to add another neutron and try and cut that out before I like go insane. Keep hearing this bloody frequency. right around here somewhere. It's annoying because I want that bit out, but I also want it to increase the rest. Add a bit of gain.
What you're going to hear. What you're going to hear about today is nothing short of a miracle.
See you later, my dude. Yeah. So this is the big task. So this is the main sound that I'm worried about. Every time I listen to it on like a good set of speakers, on my monitors, even when I'm in the car and I like play it back, I can hear these kind of like a mid-bassy tone that I don't want. And I got a feeling, because when I look at the track, when I look at the sound and listen to it, listening to it by itself sounds fine. And looking at it, there's not a lot going on in that kind of area. And same goes with the sub bass as well. It's actually a little bit of that mids I could probably work with. So I reckon I need to take this bit out. But basically every time they're put together, it creates this frequency kind of clash, and I feel like that's because there's a bit of masking going on. So let's do some masking editing. So I'm going to call this one main lead. And I'm going to go to sub bass and call this guy sub bass. If anyone is watching, I have way too many neutrons open, but I don't want to sit here on the stream and do like a bunch of freezing and flattening because it'll take ages. So if you're watching and kind of learning from it, definitely make sure that you freeze and flatten your tracks with like neutron and ozone because they take up a lot of CPU. And if you have like 15 of them, your computer will cry. Sick. Let's start masking. So I want to check out between this main lead and the sub bass. There's almost nothing. Like there shouldn't be anything anyways, but like I don't know what else is causing that sound. So yeah, it's just here. I might just turn it down here. And then I'm going to cut out these lows. I wish Neutron would allow me to like make the synth bigger so I could see both of these like properly. But anyways, I'm going to turn that off. So there's a lot of room here. Like I could go to like about 4 to 450 before you really start noticing. Yeah, that was a lie. I had the sub bass on. Yo, this mixtape is fire. Yo, thanks, man. Damn, those fire flames look like the flames that I have tattooed on the bottom of my legs. I don't have them on the bottom of my legs, by the way. That was just a joke. Brian will get it. I'm going to go for the 24. Bring it up to around 300, and then that way it's got a nice little gradual cutoff. And I'm just going to bring up a tiny bit in volume over here. Because this sound is just perfect and I don't really want to mess it up. Which is possible. I'm not going to add any excitement or anything to it. I'm just going to do a bit of compression and move on. Sweet. So now I need to go back into this. And go from that 180 mark around there and just go down. And hope that that kind of solves my issue. You could probably even leave that around 100. Manu. Bass is quite loud. Let's bring that down. That's better. Sick. I like that. I'm happy with that. So every time I complete like a section, I just turn it into this green mode. So to tell myself in the future that I've done it. Otherwise it might be like, wait, have I done it? Maybe I haven't. I'm gonna chuck on a saturator on that bass. And that's pretty much it with the bass. The bass is pretty easy as long as you got the levels and the gain staging right, and it's obviously in mono. Add a bit of compression, EQ, you're all set. Actually, we're not all set. I need to do this. Take up the 48 and put that like that, cutting anything below that 20. And even though this cuts off at 20, it doesn't mean that we can't hear anything if amplified enough below that 20. Like if you're listening to something naturally, you're never really listening to anything below 20 hertz. But if you're at a festival or something like that where it's just super loud and your ear is literally glued to the speaker and something's not mixed well, if it's below 20 hertz, it can get pushed up to a point where it could possibly be audible, but if not audible, it could be affecting other stuff. So you want to make sure that it's not affecting stuff, essentially. So when it comes to these effects, it looks like this has already been edited. I'm just gonna redo this, make sure that there's nothing getting in the way. Like this one for example has got quite a lot of that low end. And I'll clear up that high end as well. Chuck on a utility for a bass mono around that 200 to something, and then I might bring in an ozone imager on these and just widen them up a little bit, just so that they sit a bit nicer in the field and they don't feel so clogged up with everything else.
Now, we must be ready for a new danger.
Also want to just bring the gain down on that a bit. So when you kind of spread something up like this with the imager, it widens it so it kind of fits a little bit better, but at the same time when you're doing that, it also means you're not increasing the amplitude, but what happens is, because it's gotten into its own little spot in the stereo field that you're listening to, makes it a bit easier for it to kind of peek through and assume or seem as if it's louder. So in this case, that's kind of what I felt was happening. So I just turned it down in the gain, a couple decibels, and I want it to really sit in the background, not be very important, but I also don't want it to affect anything else and cause clashing.
Now, we must be ready for a new danger.
Yo, that's it. That's that done. So now, basically, what I would usually do is go through and freeze everything, flatten everything, just completely finish it off, and then move on to the next process. But I don't know if there's going to be enough time for that. Yeah, I feel like I'd be here for a while if I do this. Kick done. While I'm doing this, I'll check in on the stream, see how we going. So, for anyone that's checking out this part, we have a live stream this Saturday, which is our DJ live stream. It's a DJ live stream, so we do that. Well, we try to do it every month. Sometimes we do it twice a month. Sometimes we skip a month. But usually we do it every month. It's just a DJ live stream that we do here. Except this edition on Saturday is going to be a bit different. Because we're kind of stepping it up a notch, and we hired out a little warehouse. We're going to set up a stage on Saturday, a backdrop, the whole shenanigans, lights, everything. We got multiple cameras. And yeah, in fact, I bought a camera just for it. But I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to use it, because I don't know if I've got it all working 100%. So I might just have to keep using the webcams for that. But then, yeah, so basically we're partnering up with Protocode, which is a drum and bass label based in Perth. I love all of their like releases and stuff that they do with their artists. Yeah, and so basically, you know, I just really enjoy what they do. So I wanted to kind of partner with them, and I asked them to join up with us and put together this live stream that we're doing on Saturday, which is basically everyone from their label joining on for one big live stream at that warehouse. And yeah, it'll be pretty cool. Like, we've never done anything at that size. I mean, it's not that big, but It costs a bit of money to hire out and kind of set it all up. So I'm pretty excited for it. Usually we just do them in this room right here, where we just kind of like set things up back here with the DJ equipment and live stream from here, which is always fun. But it's just not enough space for the amount of people that we have doing the live stream on Saturday. So we hired out the space, got it all. We're gonna get it all set up. So if you're watching, tune in on Saturday at 5 p.m. Australian Western Standard Time. We go from 5 to 8, and we've got about 4 DJs on from Protocode, the 4 founders of the label, and they're going to be jumping on, playing all of their own tunes, new tunes, a lot of the tunes from their artists and stuff on the label. And yeah, just stuff that they like. So definitely check it out, because it's going to be a sick set. They always pull through with like such awesome sets. They also run events and stuff within Perth. So yeah, it should be a cool one. Definitely excited for it. And if it goes well, if the venue and everything that we're using likes it, then we can do it again and go with something else. And maybe even use NBC Crew that I'm a part of, which is another label in Perth, and try and do something with them if they're keen, and just doing it from there. But none of it's, it all kind of costs money. So if, we don't make money off it, it's just about promoting the artists and stuff like that, and just kind of giving each artist that's on there a bit of time. So if you're keen to check it out, we'll be there on Saturday. We'll be right here, actually. 6, that's all done. Now I can move on. Alright, this one didn't get done. Snuck away. Damn. And then, yeah, so now we're done with that section. These are already done. So I literally just go through and change the color of these so that I know that it's done. Maybe it's a bit OCD, I don't know, but it's just the way I do it. Otherwise I go back and I forget things. It's just the kind of process that I use when I mix, just from stopping me from going insane and being like, oh, have I done this? Have I not? So green light for it's all good to go. Quickly save. And yeah, let's have a quick listen. Let's have a quick listen.
Of a miracle, of a miracle, of a miracle, of a miracle, of a miracle.
Sick. I'm pretty happy with that already. So basically what I will do first is I'm going to open up Ozone on each of these buses. So I'll leave the kick. There's no point really. And I'll do it on the snare, perks, and the rest of them. And I'm just going to start doing some mid and side EQ and compression, and I'll literally just do it on all of them. That's alright. Natasha, you should tell Jesse to jump on if this isn't already Jesse. I don't know. And tell him to look what I'm about to do, because this is a cool part. This is the cool part about the nerdy side of things.
Now, we must be.
Alrighty. So I got Ozone 8. What's that? So I got Ozone 8 right now. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a dynamic EQ. And we're going to work on the mid and side. So mid and side is probably my favorite technique to use when I mix. It's all about like, I guess, in a way, sweet. Yeah, tell him to jump on. It's all about like, I guess, separating the mids from the side and EQing them separately. So not a lot of synths or tools allow you to do that, but Ozone does, which is sick. And essentially, it cleans it up so much. Like, it's probably my favorite thing to do. So we'll do it on this vocal chain here, the vocal bus. I'll call this vocals. And where did that go? I put it on the wrong one. So I'm just going to do it as a bus, not just on the one. And essentially, I'm going to go through, put in a dynamic EQ. We're going to go into mid and side mode. We're going to solo the mid and listen to it.
Now, we must be ready for a new danger.
Alright, so that's fine. I'm pretty happy with that anyways. I might just bring it down a bit over here.
Now, we must be ready for a new.
So this is a dynamic EQ. Let's switch into digital. Gonna bring it down. It works as a threshold.
Now, we must be ready for a new danger.
That we're gonna bring the attack up to about there.
Now,
but the big thing is, if you're listening to it on headphones or anything, yo man, what's up? Just talking about mid and side EQing. Super important for like mixing and shit, and it's probably like the best tool to use for mixing, in my opinion, just like clear stuff up. So if you're listening on headphones or speakers, you might be able to tell the difference. But this is just the vocals here. So mid and side, basically you can solo this in Ozone.
now, we must be.
And you can see them individually. So if we solo the side, you're just listening to the stuff on the side. Alright, so it kind of sounds kind of weird, but that's good. So it's all the side stuff that's not, it's all the stereo field essentially sitting on the side there that you're listening to, like the reverb, all that kind of echoey stuff. And what this does is we're going to go to the side, bring this down like quite far. And we want to get to about like -3 decibels. So it starts cutting away the low end in the side. And so what that does is the side of everything, those kind of echoes and reverb and everything like that, just really gets cleaned out. And it's a lot of the time when you're mixing with stuff that doesn't have this tool, that just stays muddy. So this is like my secret tool, and it's probably the best kind of thing. So get around that, and then I also just take the upper one as well, and I do the same thing on the high end, but in reverse. And I get that to about 1 decibel up, and then now when you unmute it and listen to it together, it should sound like a lot clearer.
We must be ready for a new danger.
That's pretty much it. And so that's like the best mixing tip I could ever give you. It's flipping amazing. And I do it on every track, like every kind of bus. And once you do it to everything, it just cleans it up like so much. and you leave the stereo side of things, the widened side of things, to only have that mid to high end, and it just helps everything sound like a lot clearer. So that's your lesson for the day. That's your lesson for the day, boy. So we're going to do the same thing on pads. If you need mixing tips, watch this whole video that I've been doing. I'm literally just mixing the song.
Now,
so in this case, I don't want to take out the lows from here because I know that I want some of those lows in there and they've already been edited. So I'm just going to take it out of the side. This is quite a long one, so we'll go for like around there. And I'm super sick today. Sick as fuck. Oh, that's why it's not working, because I haven't done this yet. So I like to go for quite a hectic cutoff there, and really like bring it back. And it really cleans it up. Just like that. And then take that up just like that. And I literally do this every time for the same thing. And I promise it works. It's like my secret ingredient for mixing. So for right now when it's not working. There you go. So maybe we can bypass it, and if you're still listening, I'll show you what it sounds like with and without it. So bypass. Alright, it still sounds good because it's already been mixed, but with it on, it should clear up the external side of things, the side of it all, and the kind of high end of the sides. Sweet. So I'm not going to put it on the bus for that one. I'm going to do it separately. I'm going to separate these three to this synth.
Let's be ready for a new danger.
Yeah, like it's a small detail difference whenever you do that kind of ozone trick, but I find it makes such a big difference overall when you put it all together, and essentially it doesn't widen the sound, but it like almost makes it feel like it's wider when and clearer as well. Like I think it just allows for more room for things trying to stretch out from the middle in, and those kind of lower frequencies to really have enough room to muck around. And yeah, like if I don't do the mid and side processing, I know it just sounds like shit. Like it doesn't sound like shit. It just doesn't sound as good. And I found doing that just takes it up to a whole nother level of like clarity and like that nice crisp highs. But yeah. So I'll do it on this group, and I won't do it on. Why won't let me bring it in? The heck is going on? There you go. It's weird. Ableton being weird. So we're going to go a bit harsher on the sides here. I'm just cutting out that kind of thing. I go down to about 20. Put this up to about, I'll go for like 70. And then we're going to go there, turn it on to up. Do the same thing. You know what I will do? See, as the reason why I didn't want to put the ozone on this is because it's quite a monoid synth. Doesn't really have much width to it, so I don't think there'll be anything there. But let's have a look. Oh, there's a little bit. Alright, let's clean that up. That could be what's causing my issues. I want to make it digital. It's always nicer. Yeah, 20. There you go. That immediately, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but to me that kind of really cleared up a lot and almost made it make it sound a bit fuller. Gives itself its own. It gives itself like more room to expand and to do its thing in the stereo field. And yeah, it sounds so much better. Oh, I love that sound. Man, I spent flipping hours of blood and sweat making that bass. That's why I'm so happy with it. And every time I showed someone like on speakers, they're like, "Oh, that bass." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. It's fucking sick." I won't need to do it on this because it's mono. But I'll do it on the group here just to be safe. I really don't think there's going to be much point of it, but I'm going to do it in case. Why not, you know? And just bring up the high end a bit. yeah. And that's that. So that's pretty much everything. The only other thing I need to do is the gain staging.
They found a world where they seemingly have no problems.
We can go pretty hard on this one because I don't want much low end on these sounds. We want a very quick attack and release. That sounds nice. And then one more on the snare, and then I'm done with that. Yeah, and then I'll do some gain staging. So, oops. Let's quickly have a listen. What the hell's going on? Right, because I soloed it on that. That makes sense. I didn't realize I was listening to the solo version. I was like, crap, I screwed something up. I gotta go back. Nice. So the hard part is done. Now it's just about mix. It's just about gain staging. So yeah, let's have a look. Okay, so it looks like these snares are probably kicking up a little bit too much volume. So I will I'll put on a utility on each of these groups and I'll start adjusting it. So I'm just going to bring the snares back a little bit by 2 or 3. I reckon 3 decibels. fine because everything's going to get brought down anyways. So I'll leave that like that. Let's try to think if I want to do that now or later. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these utilities -6 on it, and I'm going to copy and paste it onto every bus that I got. That's and just bring the whole mix down by 6 decibels. So I just realized I don't have my master output coming through here because I've got the stream on. So I might have to finish this later without the stream. But essentially, let me talk you through it, and then I'll do this after. I'll turn the stream off and then I'll do it. But essentially, if anyone's watching, you got a gain stage, right? So gain staging, if you don't know, is basically just editing the the gain and volume, basically output of each channel, the gain output. So you want to sit and listen, reference to other tracks as well. We could look at that a little later as well. And you essentially just want to make sure everything's sitting correctly. Like, is the kick too loud? If it is, bring it down. Is the snare too loud? Is it too soft? Making sure everything sits comfortably with yourself. And if you're not very good at like determining it by yourself, listen to other tracks that are in the similar genre, a similar song, and compare it where there's done. What are their levels sitting at in your mind? You don't have to look for a number, but you just want to, try and find an equilibrium where everything's sitting nicely and balanced. Gain staging also kind of includes a bit of panning left and right, so you could do that as well. Yeah, and then basically what I do is I do all that, and then once I've done the gain staging, finding the right level, I'll take all the channels like I just did and bring it down by 6 decibels to make sure that the master output is hitting around -6 decibels, which means it's ready to get exported out. But I can't do that right now because I've got a little tool over here that allows me to record everything going out into the stream. So I can't do that. So I'll have to end the stream and go from there. But it's been fun. So once again, got a live stream coming up on Saturday. I hope you guys enjoyed this one already, by the way. We got a DJ live stream going on this Saturday, which would be flipping sick. Just a lot of drum and bass. Perth label called Protocode. Check them out. We'll be live streaming on Saturday, 5 p.m. Australian Western Standard Times, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Perth time. Check it out. And I guess we'll see you then. And I might do another. I'm probably going to do these streams every Thursday, the production streams, and then I'm going to keep the DJ streams like monthly. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page, and we just started an Instagram page as well, and we've got a SoundCloud. All the details should be on our Twitch page if you just look at our panels, and also on our Facebook and all that as well. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.